Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we are getting ready to go live on YouTube. I am Christina Dillabo, Director of Communications for the Desert Southwest Conference, and we are here for another Tuesday Talks with church communicators, and that's could be pastors, could be the communication liaison, it could be communication staff, volunteers. If you're into church communications, you're at the right place. So, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. Our list today was pretty short. We were going to cover custom mailing and printing services, about the camp donations, the leadership trainings that are coming up, where to find communication. And with those trainings, I was going to sidebar about where to find communication resources and trainings, previous training recordings. And I had a question from last Tuesday talk about where to get the digital UMC program calendar, if there's like a Google Calendar available. So I'm going to talk about that as well. Any other questions that we should address today? All right, then let us get started. So with the custom printing and mailing services, I'd love to hear what your church uses on a regular basis. If it's the same as the stuff that I normally use, no problem. I'm certainly not meaning to endorse one company over another. It's just, I'm just sharing, here's my regular go-tos. The first one that I go to a lot because I had a long relationship with them was Printrunner. After a lot, way back when we used to print the Transformation magazine. At that time, after a lot of research, Printrunner was the best deal I could find for what we were wanting to do. Then later, from a local church, I found out about Vistaprint, and here and there was some incredible deals with Vistaprint. So I would often compare these two national companies and see which one's better. And once in a while, if it was like a custom thing that I was getting, I was able to talk to an account rep and say, well, Printrunner does this. Can you guys beat that? Or Vistaprint does that. Can you, and then you get an even better deal. More recently, I've been using a local print company. By local, I mean Phoenix, Arizona. It's Biltmore ProPrint. And I'm going to provide you guys with the links to all of these. That one's a mom and pop place. It's local, and so it's very convenient, and they're very friendly, hospitable. They'll drive over a sample for us because we were basically in their neighborhood. So if you're thinking about something like that, I'd say those three. But there is a UMC partnership with Staples through GCFA, where all of our churches get an incredible discount. I'm going to share my screen real quick so I can show you a little more about what I'm talking about. So, and again, I'll share the links with you. This is the specific Staples one, where it's not just your office supplies, it includes the custom printing. And so if you go to it, then you get to a page where it talks a little bit more about, registering and shopping, and it's pretty cool. I've used that before for I don't remember what I used it for, but it was like some kind of booklets that we needed to have printed, and they knew exactly what I was talking about by the UMC discount. Oh, oops, sorry.
Christina, I used them to print business cards, and they were quick and they turned out really well. And it was very easy to use. They had a whole upload they have all sorts of templates that you can upload to whatever you're going to be using.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So luckily, so we have some examples or some experience with them. Very easy to use. There we go. That's what I was looking for. This is the other one that I wanted to share with you. If you click here, you get to this kind of a presentation about that. Does an overview of the many different ministry partners where our churches get discounts. And all of them, you basically, kind of like the Staples one, you click in and then you learn more about how to take advantage of those discounts. I mean, from travel to insurance to, just tons of different discounts. I'm sorry, I'm going to scroll really fast just to get to the bottom part, because one of the ministry partners is about UMC support. And so you can see they offer many different types of helps that are, this is where it's not a third-party company. This is the United Methodist Church offering these types of resources. So they're not going to be making a profit off of your church. They're covering their expenses, but this is a ministry of the church. So if you're looking for something along these lines, I'd recommend checking them out. There's their contact information. Like I said, I'm going to include this link so you can get this whole little presentation in your email. All right. Let's see. Any questions about that? Okay. Okay, next item is camp donation links. Oh, this one was pretty exciting. I'm hoping that every one of our churches that is watching this video or participating today in one way or another promotes camping with Potosi Pines Camp or Mingus Mountain Camp. We do also have Camp Hope sometimes and other special retreats that happen in those camps, or even just supporting Desert Southwest Conference camping ministries in general. So before we had one link if you wanted to do a reoccurring monthly link for Mingus, one like that for Potosi, a different one if it was a one-time link for Mingus, a different one, it was a lot of them. But because there was so many details, if you want this one, then you needed to know this information. It was just too much for one form. And thanks to Patricia Pigram from, let's see, I think she's from Mingus Mountain Camp. She's been working with a fundraising specialist. And so they're the ones that gave the brilliant and oh so obvious recommendation that why don't you put them all on one page? That'll be much easier than, oh, you need this link for that. No, wait, it's this, wait, which one? So part of why I'm sharing this is if you didn't know, now you'll have access to it. The new link is dscumc.org/camps. It's not absolutely beautiful. We might make it look better. This is what it looks like right now. So you can get to all of those different links. This is just like the rough draft. And then if you wanted to find out more about either one of those camps, if you wanted to support the camping ministry in general, both monthly and one time, there's those links. And over here on the side is the latest news that's been advertised about camping. And if you wanted to help promote volunteering at camp, we've also updated this video here so that it makes sense for what's happening today. This video existed before, but it sent people to an old website that's no longer in service. But you can download it and use it in your electronic church newsletters if you want to share it as a mission moment. I'm sure even you could probably even get someone from Camp and Retreat Ministries to either record a little video, introducing the volunteer at Mingus video, or to talk about why you should donate to Camping and Retreat Ministries. Anyway, so I wanted to share this with you guys, number one, so you have the know-how, the access to where this stuff is available so that you can promote it as well. But also in case you have any things like this where, it's a simple tip, so obvious, we didn't think about it. And there was lots of different people working on this to try to have your donation stuff at one-stop shop. You can still have one-offs here and there, but if you're promoting giving at your church, if you don't already have it that way, have your different little categories of giving on one page. And that way, it doesn't matter if you're promoting giving for children's ministries or outreach or whatever, you're sending people to this one page and they'll end up seeing, oh, wow, I didn't know this other stuff about my church. Oh, I'd like to help with that. And it's all on one page. So that was that. Remember, you can always interrupt if you have questions or more to add, if you guys are doing something cool in that area. The last thing is about, well, not really. The almost last thing is about the 2022 leadership trainings. So I will share my screen about that because there's been some interesting news there. This particular page we call DSC University. And let me go to the home page. If you didn't have the direct link, you can still find it. There it is, training and resources. That's where you would go from the home page, and it brings you here. What populates this is the latest articles about or news about upcoming trainings. If you kind of check out the rest of the page, you'll see these purple boxes on the sides. These are, as you can see on this one, they're videos or links to videos on different trainings that you can take whenever you want to, because they're already recorded, and we include the documentation that you'll need for that training. But right now with COVID, there's some updates that you might leadership at your church might be wondering, so when is the next leadership training? And Carla can tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, let's start with the North District one. Christina, go down a little bit and click on the North District. Originally, if those of you that are in the North District, I'm not sure there's any gym, was going to be 3 different in-person ones, and we have switched it as of last week to a virtual meeting, which will be on January 29th. And if you scroll down a little bit more, you can see what the different topics are that we're going to do. This will be it will be all morning long, and we will be addressing all 3 of these topics. And that's for the North District. Then the next one is going to be for the East, West, and South districts, and they are going to be doing a webinar. Wrong one, Christina. Yeah, right there, that one. They're going to be doing a webinar series, and you've got Javier on here, so why don't we have Javier talk about that as the West District Superintendent?
Thank you, Carla. So the first webinar that we're going to have is going to be on the history of our Methodist movement and how does that relate with our connectionalism. Bishop Grant Hagilla is going to be the one who will teach that webinar. This first webinar is going to be recorded, and so he will record it, but I think there is the great possibility that he will be there to answer questions and answers not in person but live, through Zoom. So we're still working with those in that area, but so that will be the first one, which is Saturday, February 5th. It's going to be the first Saturday of every month. And then in March, I believe we're thinking about the general conference, Carla, or Kat. I think Kat is.
I'm not sure which one you guys have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing one with Bishop Grant, and then the next one with Kat Holbert. And that I think is going to be more on how do we, some resources that we can have as how to work in churches. How does that connectionalism help us to work more effectively in our churches? And then Kat Holbert, of course, is from Camp and Camp Ministry. And then we're going to have one on stewardship. And, during this time, how do we ask people, how do we manage the finances of the churches, especially during COVID? And then the next one will be on general conference. Dan Holbert and, some members of the delegation will be there to answer questions, but then we'll definitely talk about what's happening, with general conference, with the, different alternatives of the church of the future. So those are the webinars for the West, South, and East District.
And both of these things will all be free. There's no charge, and there'll be webinars, and there'll be breakout times where you'll be able to get into smaller groups and talk about some of the things that are presented.
Sorry, I clicked on the wrong spot. Thank you both for sharing about that. I was saying earlier, it's always kind of nerve-wracking to share about something that, like, I heard about it. I think I've got it right, but it's so much better to hear from you guys. So thank you for that. Then the other thing I can share with you, only because somebody asked me about it last week, or it could have been yesterday, I don't know, was looking for certain downloads, like communication resources is what I was thinking. So I sent them to this page, which you could go to the resources page, and the very first link is communications. That's where you find out the different channels that we're on and some like information about the Tuesday talks and documents that you can download. They were asking about the media lists, so those are available there for Arizona and Nevada. And some of these other ones that are how-to links to things like this, training resources, like this Worship Online is the same as this. Turns out what they were looking for was the previous recordings about how to improve your YouTube channel, which was a 3-session training, and those are all available here on this page. So remember to get to this, and there's so many other resources here. There's stuff when we had the Vimeo account rep, or the faith leader from Vimeo guiding us on how to use Vimeo, and there was a special discount for churches. There's we've had Zoom, our Zoom account representative talking to us about Zoom. We've had Greg Christensen, I think was his name, from CCLI, talk to us about copyright for churches, things that you needed to consider. If you click on these, you get more information, more files, more recordings. These were community discussions. Anyway, you can check it out at your leisure when you have time. And this, of course, can scroll to get to other information. But you can get to this page if you went directly here, how to worship online. To get to the communication resources, you just click on the resources and communication menu item, and you get here to this part. So they all kind of connect together. But because I had a question about it, that's why I figured I might as well share that information with you guys. Then the last thing I want to share with you is a question that I had last week about is there a Google Calendar or some type of a digital calendar that I can download, and I've got all the important dates on my personal calendar? Yes and no. They asked about a free reoccurring Google Calendar. It's not free, but Cokesbury does offer a $12 electronic download. And this is what I used to use a long time ago, but yeah, so that's all we have available. I did check in with InfoServe from the United Methodist Church, and they directed me to Cokesbury. So I'll include the link to this. And I saw that I missed something in chat from David. Campership fundraiser is Sunday, March 6th at 6 p.m. on Zoom. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, this is actually the second year that they've done this, so it's, I guess, becoming an annual event. And it's so Kat Holbert will have lots of information about that. I helped out last time with the technology and have agreed to do that again. And it's a real fun evening to really show what the camps do and the effects that they have, and they play games and have little quizzes and have different people, you know, talk from the camp leadership versus campers, and it's a fun evening. And yeah, and Carla wants to say something too.
No, I have a question. So this is a fundraiser, but is this for adults and kids? Because you said there were games and stuff. So would kids have fun doing it, or is it basically a fundraiser mostly just for adults?
I think it would be appropriate for all ages. Yeah, from what I remember of last year, of course, COVID years are longer, I think, than regular years, right? So it was, yeah, it was a lot of fun. And there was some little singing, you know, they sang some camp songs. And so that's why I'm saying that it might be fun for young people as well.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'll reach out to Kat to get more information about that, see when she can come on and talk to us about it. But I'm assuming that means it's something that churches will be able to share and invite people to attend. Awesome. Okay. Well, that's all I have today, unless there's any more questions or anything. Oh, Jason Moore workshop, January 27th. Oh my gosh, thank you, Javier. Oh, geez. Yes, I was supposed to include that. I will include that in the follow-up email. Don't forget. So I think I mentioned it before, but basically it's a workshop that there was a part 1 about how to do hybrid worship, both in person and online. And even if you didn't attend that one, it was recorded. So if you register for the new one, January 27th, which is like, it doesn't talk about the same stuff from the first one. It's more than that. And so if you register for that one, you get access to the recording from the first one, and then you come to the second one and learn a whole bunch more stuff. And I don't remember if it was free. I think it is free, isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is free.
So I'll include the details and the registration link so that your leadership can register for that in my follow-up email. Thank you, everybody. Oh, the gathering. I don't know. There's conversations about that. And that is, the question, is it still going to be happening in person? And of course, if you're going to switch it from in person to via Zoom, then there's a question of, well, then what's the schedule for that? What time? What is it still the same days? Is it the same amount of time? I don't know the answers to any of that. But when we do have the answer, I will share it with you guys in my weekly Tuesday talk. If I'm sure that Boom is going to be sending something out to all clergy about it as soon as they have something worked out. But just so you guys also know, and to also offer you guys the opportunity to remind your pastor, hey, there was an email that already went out from Boom. Be sure to look for it because it's talking about the gathering and the changes or whatever the situation is. So that's all I've got for you. Thanks again for joining me today, Tuesday, January